So I'd been talking to the press, and websites were a new thing then. So they were coming in, and the club had just got a website. So I got interviewed by the young girl who was running it. And me being a bit of a character, I just say things how they are. So she was asking me, so you're doing all this cool down, and I've heard the players are wearing leggings and things like that. I said, oh yeah, I have them wearing tights. I said, and I've also got them doing, belly stretches as well. Now, there's some truth in that. I'd adapted some of the stretching from ballet because of the strength of the hamstrings. So I'd done some of the research, but I'd said it in a way, they're wearing tights, and I've got them wearing, they're wearing tights, and I've got them doing ballet stretches. So obviously that was then picked up by the mainstream media, who obviously put a spin on it. Now, these are the days of the, Tedal papers like the News of the World, and it was first reported in the Mirror, and it said something like, coach has strange methods for team, and it mentioned Tranmere. And then next minute, after we beat Brig in the cup, I get a phone call on Sunday morning, and it was my brother-in-law, and he went to me, and I don't buy the News of the World, and I would never buy any of those papers. I won't get into the politics of it. But he said, you better go and get the News of the World. And I went, why? He said, well, there's a big spread on you in the paper. I said, oh, is it good? He goes, well, you make your own mind up. He said, put it this way. He said, the headline is Tranmere Rovers. Now, again, in this age of political correctness, I'm not coming on here to be, detrimental to anyone or their lifestyle. But this is 2001, at a time when, let's say, the press had a free rein on some of the headlines they could print, and it was Tranmere Rovers. And basically, it was a big picture of Paul Rideout with a cut eye, and they'd superimposed a pink tutu onto him, like a ballet dress. So, and it's got Tranmere Rovers, wacky Coach Wilson, and strange methods. And it was just it totally obliterated me and anything I was trying to do, and absolutely made the club and me just look like a joke, And I think, and I remember one of the lines was, their next game is guaranteed to be a 2-2 draw, and the players are doing a lot of nutcracker challenges, so loads of ballet references. So I get a call off Dave Watson, and he goes, have you seen this thing in the News of the World? I said, yeah. He said, leave it with me. I'm going to handle it. I don't know what's happened. He said, what did you do? I said, well, I never spoke to them, and I never spoke to anyone in the mainstream media. I spoke to so-and-so at the club's website. And he went, well, it's got out, and obviously no one's going to be happy with it. He said, and I think Dave said something like, but remember, George, he used to call me Chicken. That was my nickname, Chicken George. It was from a program called Roots, which was an old 70s program, and that was my nickname. Eric Nixon gave it to me, and he said, listen, he said, don't worry about it. He said, all publicity is good publicity. And I went, at the time, you just don't think it is, because you're sitting on a headline of Tranmere Rovers, and you're made to look an absolute crank. And it had a picture of me, and the picture they got, Matt, I don't know where they got it from, but it had me with dead long hair doing me Roger Daltrey thing, and it had Coach Wilson, wacky. It just had wacky. And then, so obviously, then I met Dave to go and watch Everton that day, because we're both big Everton fans. And I remember Kenny Irons was in with us, and I think Stan Boardman was in with us watching the game. And a few references were made. Oh, here he is, the Bally man and all that. And, what you got the players doing. And there was a few little comments. And then, obviously, I got Monday to go back to the players because we're off Sunday. And I thought, I was dreading going in. I was like, I'm going to pack in. I said to Dave, I can't face the players with this. And when I went in, I absolutely got it. Oh, I totally lost the trust of the players, because obviously he'd looked ridiculed. The club had looked ridiculed. And I remember, I think it was Andy Parker or something, and quite rightly so, or someone said, we're going to get the stick we're going to get when we go around the country now. He said, what have you done to us? And how much did you make? And Andy never said that, but somebody said, how much did you make? And I went, and I made nothing, and it wasn't down to me. Somebody had leaked this from the club. And I won't get into the sort of conspiracy theories, but Matt, somebody had leaked it intentionally to get a headline in a national newspaper. I tell you what, it got Tranmere some bloody publicity, mate.
So obviously that had a big impact on you. individually and you with your relationship with the players. Do you think you ever got that relationship back to where it was?
Not for a while. So what happened was that was me. I've never packed anything in my life, but that really was bad. I mean, ever since I've even looked at saying, why, can't you go and sue these people because this is defamation of character? And it was. Sad thing was, it was leaked from the club. Someone did give that to the press, so otherwise they wouldn't have got it. It was just a local, interview. To answer your question, so the next game was the away game, the Tuesday at Reading, and I knew something had changed. Players were definitely. I had a few good friends who were exactly the same, like Gareth Roberts and Cy Howarth, who just like, I don't worry about it, just get on with it. But because it was a picture of Paul Riders, and I had a lot of respect for Paul because of Everton, and I was an Evertonian, and the cup final. And I remember thinking, oh my God. Then he was away at the time. He'd gone over to America or something. He'd come back from a calf injury. So he wasn't playing, and he'd had a few days off. And I was like dreading, thinking when he comes back, it's just going to make, I've got to face him. So after the Reading game, there was another cock up. The catering after the game didn't arrive, or it wasn't organised. So the players had just played. We got beat 4-1. Another sending off. Senny and Dyer got sent off again. So we're on the coach, and everyone's like, where's the food? Well, obviously it's my responsibility. There was no food, and I got it. I mean, the chairman, Lorraine, she absolutely tore me one in front of everyone. And everyone was just sitting there, and I just remember sitting there thinking, this is as low as ever, this is bad. This is not good. And I'm a positive person, Matt. I'm thinking it is my fault. It is my fault. It should have been arrived, and it never arrived. Wasn't organised. Anyway, so then I sat down with Dave Watson the following day, and he said, okay, I'm going to call a meeting with the players. So we all sat down. He went, look, listen, I stand by George. And Mike Newell was there. Mike was, I stand by George. He said, any issues, let's have it out here. So there was a lot of things come out. And people like the Chief were there, Wayne, and people had a lot to say. And in a way, it was a good thing, because after that, that's when that run started.